Have you ever heard of my Nazi knock-knock joke, Louis?
No.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
The Office is a show that looks completely harmless on the surface, but fans have uncovered theories that are so clever, darker, and disturbing that they might completely change how you see the show. But before we dive into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more in-depth TV show breakdowns. Bob Vance, mob boss of Scranton. Something is unsettling in Bob Vance's calm confidence from the moment he appears on the screen. He never panics, he never raises his voice, and somehow he always feels 10 steps ahead of everyone else in the room. That is exactly why so many fans believe that Bob Vance is not just a refrigeration salesman, but he is actually a mob boss who is operating quietly in Scranton. Even Phyllis once casually mentioned that Bob offered her a job that paid entirely in cash, and also, she would not even have to show up for that job. She immediately admitted it sounded illegal. This line was never addressed again in the show, but it remains. Bob dropped $1,000 during a charity show just to hug Phyllis. It was an absurd amount of money for a meaningless gesture. We have also seen in a deleted scene that Phyllis claimed Bob has been accused of money laundering several times, but he was cleared of all accusations because witnesses never showed up. Mysterious, isn't it mysterious? Bob is the guy who only deals in cash and always invests in nightclubs. Phyllis once warned Jim not to get Bob involved, and this was a line that landed less like a joke and more like a threat. There is even a Scranton group that is jokingly called the Five Families. Sounds like a direct note to organised crime. Even their wedding was shot like some mob movie that was filled completely with ominous music and slow pacing. We have never seen Bob reacting emotionally, explaining himself, or getting rattled by anything. He simply behaves like a guy who has quietly handled far worse than regular office drama. Michael Scott is secretly a genius. Michael Scott has proved time and again that he is far smarter than anyone gives him credit for, even though he looks impulsive, incompetent, and painfully awkward. He has closed deals where other salespeople fumbled, including the library account one, which Jim wasn't able to land. He also sealed a massive deal at Chili's by using charm, timing, and emotional intelligence, while Jan was flabbergasted by watching all this. And during the Some Michael Scott Paper Company arc, Michael successfully outmaneuvered corporate executives in negotiation, securing jobs, benefits, and protections that most people could not even dare to demand. He redirected blame so smoothly in Golden Ticket that the corporation ended up appreciating him. He used to diffuse tense moments with his jokes, games, and distractions, while also keeping morale high. He was the one who inspired Pam to take the life-changing jump with just one carefully framed question. His instincts are chaotic, but consistently successful. Radon poisoning explains everything. The darkest theories around this show suggest that the Office itself was responsible for everyone's descent into madness. Toby mentioned Radon in Season 5, which is a silent, deadly gas that comes from underground. He warned that it was dangerous, yet Michael ignored him completely. In Season 6, we see that Toby desperately asked the staff not to throw away the redone test kits, but Michael still threw them out anyway. Something quite unsettling here as the seasons progressed. The characters became increasingly unhinged, where Michael grew to be more erratic, Dwight became obsessive and aggressive, and Jim's pranks stopped being clever and started becoming cruel or nonsensical. Even background characters were behaving strangely. Michael's calmer demeanour was explained in the finale by referencing his time away from Scranton. He left the building and was away from the exposure. Some fans even joked about the documentary crew, which allowed the Radon problem to continue just to make better television. Dwight is the true main character. Dwight Schrute has done something that no other character does in the entire show. He appeared in every single episode, and he also spoke in all of them. While Michael drove chaos, Dwight was the one who carried the actual narrative arc. He evolved from a strange, power-deprived salesman into a business owner, property owner, husband, and eventually a regional manager. Everything about him, from his beat form, family history, romantic failures, to personal growth, became central in the later seasons. He even bought the office park, which gave him literal control over the space around which the entire show revolved. Dwight's story was steady and complete, where he failed repeatedly, learned painfully from it, and then eventually earned his victories. Jim is the writer of the show. Albert used the camera more intentionally than anyone else, because his glances, smirks, and silent reactions guided the audience's perception. He was framed as the normal one, while everyone else in the show slowly turned into a caricature. Dwight became more exaggerated, Michael became more absurd, but Jim remained stable, likeable, heroic, and his pranks rarely carried any consequences. Fans believe this happened because it was all Jim's version of events. Kevin Malone embezzled money. Sean was constantly broke, drowning in gambling debt, and desperate for cash until he suddenly became the owner of a bar. Fans pointed out how suspicious this transition was, He was the one who launched a fake ice cream business just to repay his gambling losses. At a garage sale, he casually stole money during a board game and also smiled while doing it. He repeatedly made massive accounting errors but never faced any consequences. Toby, of all people, never noticed missing money, even though there was an explanation given later about the bar. No such explanation ever appeared on the show. What appeared instead was repeated financial incompetence, shady behaviour, and zero accountability. This serves as a perfect cover for someone who has been skimming money for years. Jim may have cheated on Pam. Kathy showed up in Jim's hotel room while wearing pyjamas in Season 8, episode After Hours, and she repeatedly refused to leave. Here is a story that fans believed was a cover-up, where Jim called Dwight and said there were bad bugs. Also, a deleted scene shows that Kathy answered Jim's phone when Pam called, but Jim stayed unnervingly calm while explaining the situation, which felt like it was already rehearsed. John Krasinski refused to film an actual affair, and the writers had to cut a kiss scene. Still, the vagueness here keeps all the theories alive, because if nothing was shown, then nothing was fully denied either. If you are enjoying watching this video, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more movies and TV shows content breakdowns. Creed was in the Manson family. Creed once casually mentioned that he knew Squeaky Fromm, who is a real member of the Manson family cult. In another episode, he also admitted that he has been in several cults, both as a leader and a follower. This single line was enough to launch years of theories because of his fake identities, criminal past, and total comfort with chaos, suggesting a much darker history than the show explained. It was played as a joke, but Creed's entire existence feels like a series of confessions that are disguised as punchlines. Ryan was in a 12-step program. After Ryan got arrested for fraud and completed his community service, he returned as a noticeably different person. He offered flat, awkward apologies, especially to Jim, while directly acknowledging past behaviour. Fans say this actually reflects Step 9 of recovery, which is making amends. His clean-cut appearance, muted energy, and structured remorse felt less like character growth and more like mandated rehabilitation. The show never confirmed anything about it, but the behaviour lined up perfectly with the theory. Jim is actually a sociopath. Some fans argue that Jim's charm was actually hiding something deeply unsettling. He shows very little remorse for pranks that humiliate Dwight. He manipulated situations while maintaining likability throughout the show. He bought a house without consulting Pam and transferred jobs without telling her. He also pushed her toward a sacrifice he would not have made himself. Jim rarely faced any consequences, even when his actions went too far. Toby was the Scranton Strangler. Toby joked about being a silent killer as he served on the jury that convicted George Howard Scubb. Then later, he visited him in jail, claiming they had the wrong man. He also whispered, "I am going to kill him," and there was no punchline here. The show never confirmed anything, but the evidence was disturbingly consistent. Phyllis and Stanley had an affair. One line in the sexual harassment episode sparked years of speculation and theories. The line was, "Does that include one-night stands?" Fans pointed to lingering glances and quiet familiarity. Stanley also gave Phyllis a gift in the finale that was quite personal, and even though the actors denied it completely, deleted scenes and subtle moments kept the theories alive. Andy's personality was destroyed by alcohol. Ryan gave Andy powdered seahorse, and Creed explicitly warned not to mix it with alcohol, but Andy ignored all the warnings. Fans argue that this moment was the beginning of Andy's downward spiral of emotional instability, reckless decisions, and eventual total collapse. Before this scene, he certainly was odd but also manageable, but after it, everything in his life fell apart. Michael set Daryl up as his successor. Michael gave Daryl his book, Somehow I Manage, while saying, if anyone can finish him, it's only him. Fans strongly believe that Michael quietly pushed for Daryl as regional manager, but corporate rejected him due to his warehouse background. Daryl's steady rise also supports this theory, as Michael respected him more than almost anyone else. Dwight was conditioned by Michael. Another dark theory is presented that reframes Dwight and Michael's relationship as something that is far more disturbing. Fans suggest that Dwight was not just loyal, but he was actually psychologically conditioned. Michael rewarded Dwight with praise, titles, and attention only when Dwight behaved aggressively, irrationally, or blindly obedient. Instead, when Dwight showed independence, Michael belittled him, and when Dwight enforced authority or attacked co-workers on Michael's behalf, he praised him. Over time, Dwight learned that approval only comes through extremism. This explains why Dwight escalated conflicts, invented threats, and constantly sought power without understanding leadership. Michael never explicitly trained Dwight, but through years of inconsistent reinforcement, he indirectly shaped him. Dwight's paranoia of a constant need for validation and distorted sense of loyalty may all have stemmed from that dynamic. The Office is a fake reality show. Some fans also argue that the documentary itself is staged, and The Office is a set where staff members are the performers. This idea is based on the fact that the branch stays open despite disasters, scandals, and dysfunction. There is no such canon confirmation, but the idea that the cameras shaped their behaviour or even preserved the branch adds an eerie meta layer to the show. Write your thoughts on this in the comments section below. The Office may look like a simple workplace comedy on the outside, but beneath the jokes, there is a maze of theories that completely reframe everything you thought you knew about this show. If you enjoyed watching this theories breakdown video, then do subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into movie and TV show theories.